Lawrence Freeze. I'm here with Mr. Calvin Davis. Thank you very much for meeting with me. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Make sure we're all here. Think we'll be good. Okay. Mr. Davis, when and where were you born?
I was born in Columbus, Georgia.
Columbus, Georgia. How did you make your way up to Ohio?
Uh, my uncle came down and got me when I was 3 years old,
Okay.
and he brought me to Akron. My mom was pretty young,
Okay.
and this was just home base. Then I went back to Columbus. Um, I don't know, when I was probably 5, 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And then ultimately came back here for the rest of my life.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to high school at, well, in Columbus, I went to high school in Center High.
Okay. And do you have any military or law enforcement experience?
I have military experience.
Okay. And what did you do in the military?
Um, Boy, you're really taxing me here.
Sorry
I
about
thought
that.
I thought we were going to just talk about
Most,
martial
I was
arts, but
wondering if that had anything to do with it.
no, 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 no.
Okay.
It had it. My early years didn't have anything to do with it, but the difference between Columbus, Georgia, and Fort Benning, Georgia, is just nothing.
Okay.
In fact, from Columbus, under some circumstances, you could walk right on main post with no barriers, whatever.
Okay.
Um, so technically, I was born on main post. Technically, I was
Okay.
born on main post. But um, my birth certificate says Columbus, Georgia,
Okay.
not Fort Benning, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hope that
Sure. Sure.
makes some kind of sense to you.
What first attracted you to martial arts? How old were you when you got into it?
Well, my attraction to martial arts had to do with convenience.
Okay.
I was probably 21 years old, probably. Yeah. And it was a case where we were provided an opportunity. Let me back up
Sure.
just a little bit.
Absolutely.
When I say that we were provided with an opportunity, Beppu, Japan, was the Indianapolis of Japan.
And it was Beppu?
Beppu,
Beppu.
Beppu. This is Beppu Oita Kam. Wait a minute. Beppu Oita Prefecture, Honshu.
Okay.
Okay, that's the city. That's the county, and that is the island
Okay.
where it was located. And this was the location of the Annapolis of Japan. Now, when I say Annapolis, you look at the naval school and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
in Annapolis.
Uh-huh.
This was Beppu,
Okay. The Japanese equivalent of
the
that.
The Japanese equivalent. Now, the war was, this was the real war, WW2.
Yes, sir.
The WW2 ended in 45. And it ended as a result of an enormous number of people dying, particularly Japanese people. When you, back during the day when we thought about Japan, we only thought about Tokyo, Nagasaki, Miyamata under some circumstances, then all the way up to Hokkaido. Not this little piddly place down there in Beppu, but Beppu was a resort. You had these huge mountains down there. With volcanic action and the hot water running down from the mountains, okay? Sulfur water running down from the mountains down to Beppu with hot springs all over the place, okay? And that was what they were noted for at that time. That's what the community was noted for. That's where I was stationed. When I came back from Korea, I came back home for about 15 minutes and back to Japan. And they made us a proposition, and the proposition was, if you guys want to study judo instead of the physical fitness aspects of it, hand-to-hand combat and all this stuff, if you want to do that, you'll have to do it 5 days a week, okay? 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, every day, okay? But the rest of the day, you're free until 1 o'clock. I don't know how to explain this to you. And I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Roughly 15,000 troops. And a community consisting of 150,000 people, of which 65% were female.
Okay.
And I'll just leave that to
Okay.
to your imagination. Okay. So that was the incentive. We used to run when we got up.
I know the military's not. When you were serving, it wasn't as politically correct as it is now.
It definitely not. Definitely not. There weren't any complaints. You write home to mama, and there's an anvil that comes down on your chest. You write to your congressman, sure, one day you're fine. But for the rest of your tour, you die. So that was the incentive. The incentive was to go downtown, and downtown was walking right out of the main gate.
Okay.
and you'd catch a rickshaw, and you go down to the dojo, and you put in your 3 hours down there, and the rest of your time was free until 1 o'clock. And at 1 o'clock you had to be on base. You had to be on base. No excuses. And we lived up to that as much as we possibly could. Yeah. So that incentive was an opportunity for me to learn.
Sure.
But it was also an opportunity for me to explore the city and the surrounding area and all of that. Learn the language.
Do you or did you speak Japanese?
Yes.
Okay.
I spoke Japanese fluently. Not now. Not now. But yeah, then I spoke Japanese fluently. Oita was off limits to us because there was a great communist influence in Oita.
Okay.
But I went to school in Oita at night. So if I was given a pass, then what I would do, I would go down and I would study history, Japanese history.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many people, was your judo class all American military, or was it American military and Japanese?
They were all military. Let me qualify that. They were, my class was comprised of military only.
Okay.
But there were students in the dojo that were Japanese.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I know when I first became interested in martial arts, all the history I read said that it was all shared with Americans with smiles on their faces. And when I got a little older, I learned that after dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, Japanese weren't too happy sharing their art with the people who did that to their country. Were your Japanese judo teachers, were they harsh with you? Were they open with you? What was their how did they feel about teaching an American?
No problem.
Okay.
Don't.
Okay.
Our sensei was a very thorough and competent person, and he taught that way. Now, as far as fraternizing with us, once the class was over, no.
Okay. Did your instructor learn under Jigoro Kano? Did your judo instructor, if this is in the 1940s, he would have been old enough to study under the founder of judo. Did he learn?
No, no. This was not 1940.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This was 1950.
Okay.
Okay. This was the 1950s.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What I wanted to do, I just wanted to
Sure.
set
Okay.
a precedent for you by saying 1940 is when the
Okay.
war ended. Okay.
So this is a few years after.
1945. But yeah, we were there in 50. I got hit in 50. The winter of 52. No, the winter of 50. The winter of 53. The winter of 53. Spent some time in the hospital. Came home. Went back to Japan instead of back to Korea because my outfit had moved from Korea to Japan. Okay? And my outfit, just for the record, was the 187 Airborne. Okay? I was a Ranger. So all of that mess had moved from Japan, from Korea to Japan. And that's where we were billeted.
And did you enjoy your judo training when you were there for your 3 hours? Was it
Initially, no.
okay?
Initially, no. Now, I wanted to delineate between judo and karate.
Okay.
Judo, I had to take. Karate, I didn't have to take. But I was introduced to a lot of black and white motion pictures that go back to the 30s and stuff, and all of that, and then I was introduced to karate, and the judo part I had to take.
Okay.
Okay. Even when I started to take karate, it was a case where time constraints were such that immediately after judo training, karate training started, and then I had to be back at base at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Had to be back at 1. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that we delineated between the two.
Yes, sir.
By the way, as I sit here right now, March the 15th, I was 86 years old.
Happy birthday.
Okay? Yeah. So